that down, let's touch on this, shall we? Streaming, Bob Dylan would say it is a changin'. Netflix and other streamers, of course, have been moving slowly but surely into the world of sports and live events. Thursday Night Football's been on Amazon now for a couple of years. Netflix just had its first, was Christmas Day, right? That they broadcast on Christmas Day, the NFL.
I believe so.
And they've done a couple of live events too. But this past Monday marked their first venture into Monday Night Raw. As Monday Night Raw has moved over to Netflix. How did it do? Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, it did pretty good. The headline in the Hollywood Reporter is WWE Monday Night Raw pins down sizable U.S. audience for Netflix premiere. The streamer's debut for the pro wrestling show pulls in more than double its 2024 average households in viewing. The article says this. The streaming premiere of WWE Monday Night Raw brought in a sizable audience for Netflix, at least in the United States. Ratings figures from Video Amp show Raw averaging 2.6 million households for its first outing on Netflix, which struck a $5 billion rights deal for the WWE's flagship weekly show a year ago. That is more than double the household average that the 3-hour show drew on USA networks in 2024, when it typically drew about 1.2 million households. So, listen, is this like one of the biggest things on Netflix now? No. I mean, some of the biggest shows on Netflix will draw like 15 million viewers. But if you're Netflix and you drop down a whole bunch of money to bring that over, I think you're very happy to see that on your first night, you drew double the numbers of what it was drawing before. And that's just in the United States. Globally, the show drew over 4 million viewers. So it still has some work to do with its international audience, but this was the first time that Monday Night Raw was truly going to be broadcast to a global audience. So just in the US alone, it drew an over double. If you're WWE, I think you're already happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, from a Netflix point of view, this is good. They've had bigger numbers of other things, but from WWE, you got to be ecstatic. You just tapped into a gold mine.
Hopefully
for
them. And you know what? This came up in the Q&A part of the show the other day. Mm-hmm. For the first time in years, I sat down and watched Monday Night Raw.
I have a feeling a lot of people on Netflix were like, might
as well check it out.
Yeah, let's check this out. I never watched wrestling, but let's check this out.
Yeah, now I'm not going to become a regular Monday Night Raw viewer, but I mean, I grew up watching wrestling. I watch wrestling off and on most of my life. Mm-hmm. They made sure they put in very familiar faces. They started off the show with Triple H. Undertaker made an appearance. John Cena came out. CM Punk had a match. Roman Reigns, who's now been around forever, had a big match. So it wasn't featuring a lot of the new faces. It was more like, hey, if people are going to tune in to check this out, we want to make sure. If people like John Campea are going to tune in who haven't watched in a while, it looks like their strategy was, we want to make sure that there are going to be faces on the screen that they recognize.
Right.
And sure enough, they did. And you know what? It's a pretty good show.
That stadium was freaking packed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Intuit Dome?
Yeah.
The new LA Clippers stadium, probably the best stadium in the world right now, for basketball, hockey arena sized.
Yeah.
Just insane. It's amazing. The technology is great. Our buddy Ryan was there and he was telling me about all the different technologies that they use all throughout the stadium, which is insane. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Hungryroot. You know, grocery shopping used to be one of the biggest struggles. Between your busy schedule and wanting to eat healthier, it just feels impossible to stay on top of everything. But all that changes when you discover Hungryroot, the easiest way to eat healthy without the hassles. Hungryroot is like having your own personal grocery shopper. They take care of the weekly shopping for you, recommending healthy, high-quality groceries tailored to your tastes, nutritional preferences, and even health goals. They've got it all: smoothies, snacks for the kids, ready-to-eat meals, and even supplements. For me, Hungryroot is absolutely a game changer, guys. My health goals have become so much easier to stick to. I love how they personalize my cart every week and even get smart about my preferences as I go. It's honestly stress-free and so simple. You're gonna love Hungryroot as much as I do. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/Campea and use the code Campea. That's hungryroot.com/Campea using the code Campea to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/Campea, code Campea. So the place was packed, the energy was hype. The night was a big winner. Except for one moment, maybe. There was one little moment that I think, because Ted Sarandos, the boss of Netflix, I think you could see him climbing behind his chair and just trying to hide. It's the moment, I mean, look, it's the elephant in the room. It was the Hulk Hogan moment where literally all of Los Angeles booed him out of the arena. And it was so awkward. So awkward. And what made it even more awkward was that he kept doing his bit as if the fans loved him.
Yeah.
And talking about how the fans always behind him and all this kind of stuff. And he was just out there to schlock for his new beer.
Fake it till you make it.
Which, by the way, if you're WWE, Netflix can be promoting somebody's beer, you should be promoting Stone Cold Steve Austin's beer that's been around for a while.
Right.
That's the bottom line. So anyway, yeah, it was really uncomfortable and really embarrassing for the company as a whole, for Netflix, all that kind of stuff. But that was the one moment. Everything else seemed to go over great with the audience. They love seeing the familiar faces. I don't know how they talked Undertaker into doing it, because he didn't even say anything.
It was really just that Raw, story-wise, didn't move anything on like I wanted, but a lot of the stuff they did was to grab the new viewer, grab the older fans that like haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, not so much the new viewer, but the people who haven't viewed for a while, and hey, you might want to come back.
Just making a big spectacle out of it was the part where I thought they were trying to get new viewers in, because that was not Raw. That was like a
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And what I find funny about the Hulk Hogan thing is it kind of shows you the difference in generation of the way wrestlers do things. If that was The Rock up there and that happened, he would have acknowledged the crowd.
Oh, he would have leaned into it.
He would have
went
with.
He would have taken on the bad guy.
He would have improvised on the spot.
Yep.
Hogan, from a different generation, he was told to say these lines, and he did. And that's unfortunate, because I would have wanted him to at least, like it's like something going on, like a fire in the background, and everyone else is going fire, and he's like, no, it's fine. It's completely fine here. Drink my beer.
I mean, he honestly,
made him weird.
he seemed like he was a little out of it anyway. When he was doing his, you do that.
Yeah.
He was like, give me a camera. But he was like couldn't like get his wrist to turn, and then he went like that. It was really weird.
But whatever. I mean, that was one moment. The rest of the night was a big win for them.
But that's one of the best things about Raw and just being live. Things like that happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's live.
It's one of the worst things about being live.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason people tune in. Will tune in
100%
to see the mistakes, because it's not going to be perfect. There's still, even though that first show there was very little mistakes, like it will happen. It's just the nature of the beast of going live. And it'll just be interesting to see the next episode.
Yeah, and to see how they build on that. How do they improve it? How do they tighten it up? All that kind of stuff. It's also going to be interesting to see if they're able to maintain that, because like a lot of people like me tuned in because, it's the first one, it's new. I don't think I'm going to be watching again, although I do think they put on a good show, but I'm not really in a wrestling phase right now. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see, how does the viewership do? Does the viewership maintain at double what it was last year? Does it decline from week 1? Does it go up in week 2? I know we'll have to see.
How do you feel about the way they handled commercials? I thought it was a bit odd that they waited to start matches until after the ads were done. I just can imagine the people in the arena.
But USA Network, other TVs,
but
they've done that too.
You're in that arena. Okay, Solo and Roman are staring at each other for like 5 minutes. and then they start. It was.
I know
just
it's
weird.
weird. Like it always, but again, it's not new to Netflix. All the other TV networks that have carried Monday Night Raw and Thursday Night SmackDown, but I've always thought that was weird because, like, even like when it was on USA Network or
Yeah.
CD or whatever, it's like, okay, they're in the middle of a match,
Right, exactly.
and then they cut to a commercial break.
that's-
I'm like, if I'm watching a football game and Brady's dropping back to pass, they don't choose that moment to
Right.
cut to. But
Yeah,
listen,
what-
that's not new to Netflix. That's always been
But
a
that's
part
where
of the TV
it
stuff.
breaks the immersion a little bit of being live.
But again, it's not new.
Right,
It's
right,
not
right.
new to Netflix.
Right, right.
They
They've
should do
always
what
done it that way.
sporting events actually do, where for the people in the stadium, they're running like fun like videos and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
I'm
to
pretty
keep them
sure they were.
entertained.
Well,
They
not while the
probably
matches
were.
were going on.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're losing everybody who doesn't care about wrestling.
They
right
all
now.
love it.
The question is for you. Did you check out, like I did, the first broadcast of WWE on Netflix? It's a huge thing for the streaming world, moving more and more into that avenue. What did you think about it? Do you think it was good for Netflix? Do you think it's bad for Netflix? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.